on today. Who's got a question? Feel free. Imani, you had one. I saw you put your hand up.
Yeah. Actually, so I took your advice. I think I shared in the group. I took your advice. I got on closing. I started last Tuesday, and it's so fun. Why didn't anybody tell me it was this fun? It's been amazing. I actually closed 4 deals last week.
There we go.
Yeah, so I
Not
hit the
bad for your
ground
first
running.
week.
Right. I think well, I did 23,000, but 8,900 and something cash collected like upfront. Yeah,
Okay, good
so
amount of commission for you. That's a good first week in closing. Awesome.
I agree. My question now is like I don't actually know what is fair and what ought to be like. I didn't renegotiate anything. Like I just ran into it, right?
hmm
I as a setter, I was getting a base,
hmm
1200, and then I think $50 per close,
hmm
right? Like, how would you renegotiate?
Yeah, well, what's typical is 10% commission. Actually, it used to be higher than that, but the market's obviously changed. So what's typical for a closer is usually commission only 10%. What's typical for a setter is commission only 5%. Now, with base pay for an appointment setter, it's usually like base plus like anywhere from 1 to 3%. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna move into if you're still setting appointments, then
I'm setting for
obviously
myself.
you're setting for yourself. So
Yeah.
usually if you're just like self-setting and closing, if it's commission only, it's usually about 15% because you get that 5 and that 10.
Mm.
If you still have a base, that's where you get a little bit get creative. Maybe you do like base plus like I don't know, 8% or 7% or something like that.
Mm.
But what's the ticket size?
Five, like five up. So it's
Like
most of the,
5,000 or
but
more?
yeah.
Okay. And yeah, so right now, you guys never spoke about what commission you get paid for those closes at all?
I mean, he said it, but I want to know. Like, you don't tell me how much I make. Like, I should be able to say, hey, like this is what. So I want to know like what's the standard. Like he said 10%.
Yeah.
Um, and I still need clarity on is if that's 10% cash collected. What's the
It's
norm? Is it
cash
10%
collected. Cash
cash
collected.
collected?
Because if
Okay.
someone like because then they're paying you on money that they never got, you know?
Okay.
So
Got it.
it's cash collected, but as if people do payment plans, for example, some of your next month check will be some of those payment plans coming through, right? So, you
Mm,
should stack up over time where you're getting like, hey, these are the payments I get from my upfront closes, plus here's the payments from like my payment plans and different stuff like that. So you should have a combination of those two throughout the month. What
okay.
you know,
So I should be
you
tracking
mostly
that.
yeah, you should be tracking it. They should be tracking it, but obviously you want to track it for your own, financial tracking. And
Mm,
then obviously, it sounds like he's going it's pretty standard 10%. That's fair.
mm.
And then obviously, you just ask him what's typical for the team, but it sounds like he said 10%. I don't know. You're not the first
10%.
closer, right? They already have closers on the team.
No, they had
Yeah.
closers already, but I'm the first doing setting and closing. I still put stock opportunities on his or anyone else's calendar.
hmm
Um, but I'm not really spending much time doing that
Yeah, I think
anymore. Like,
if you're getting a base and you're setting your own deals and then you're
mhm.
setting some for them and you're getting paid a certain amount for the sets that you set for them. I think
Yeah,
for now that's fine for now.
fair.
you know I think it's
Okay.
fair for now.
Okay.
If closing, doing some self sets while you get your base, like, yeah, you could ask for a little bit more, but I
Yeah.
mean, right now I think it's
It's a
fine for
good
now. You
place.
just keep building your track record. It's not a bad place to be in for sure. You're not getting
Okay.
ripped off or anything. Like, yeah, you could negotiate more, like maybe like 15%. But
Yeah,
then, maybe you'll risk your base in those negotiations as well.
that's true. That's what I'm thinking. I just wanna say prove myself, but let's see. Like if you
Yeah,
value
like
if
like
good.
become one of the highest rate closers on the team, and then you can talk about more negotiating kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not sure she froze. Any other questions?
Yes, it's Joseph. I have a question.
What's up, Joseph?
Hi. This is my first time on this call and new to this platform. Um, so I was curious about just right now an offer currently, and I'm wondering what route I should take, being that I'm kind of relatively new to this. I'm not new to sales, but in terms of this new sort of format where I'm applying for a sales job. That's kind of new for me. What is it possible to skip over to closing, or do I have to go the route of getting an offer through appointment setting, or what do you suggest?
Yeah, you definitely can jump into closing or jump into setting. It really just depends on what you want. It's not like they're not structured roles where it's like you must become a setter before you become a closer. It's not like this promotion ladder thing. Most people start off with setting just because it's easier, right? It's easier to get started there. It's easier to land a role without experience there. It's easier to perform the duties of an appointment setter than it is a closer. So that's why most people kind of see it as they start there and then they move up. But you definitely can go straight into closing. I've seen lots of people do it.
Can I ask one more question?
Hmm.
Um, as far as applying for the roles, one of the people that I've been kind of following, they kind of shared how they got to a really good role as far as closing and really good pay. Where they're now in a position where they're making like 30,000 a month in commissions. But
Hmm.
they kind of talked about their journey and they talked about how many offers they applied to. They mentioned like 40. They applied to 40 offers before they found the one that was right for them that paid them what they felt they deserved. Um, is it possible to do that within a short time frame as far as on this platform? Like how many offers are there? Can you realistically apply to that many offers within a, let's say, a month, or um what's been your experience as far as the application process for offers on Closer College?
You're talking about like how many, based on how many offers are posted on RepSelect?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, there's about 60 to 70 offers a month that get posted on RepSelect, new offers every single month. Um, which, that'll go up over time as I get more help and help with vetting and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, if you applied to every single thing that we posted, you'd apply to like 60 to 70 per month. As for, I mean, you don't have to only apply to the ones on there, of course. There's lots of offers posted in lots of places that you can also look at. As for how quickly you can get to the 40, it really just depends on how much time you dedicate to looking for roles and applying for roles. And as of, how quickly you can land a offer that you really like and, you do well on, that comes down to your skill set, how good your application looks, how good you sound on interviews. I've had people apply to 5, 10 roles and land an offer where they're making good money and they're doing well. But again, those are people that, maybe have a little bit of a track record behind them. Um, it really just depends. And that's, another thing I post on the platform is access to a lot of recruiters. So, there's a lot of recruiters in the pipeline section on the platform where if you've got a good track record or history in sales, you could reach out to a couple of those, apply for a couple of those pipelines, and by next week, immediately be placed on an offer where people are crushing 10, 20, 30K. There's no like, don't look at it as like such strict math of like, okay, I need to apply specifically to 40 because this guy applied to 40. You just want to do as much as you can, like apply to the offers that you like as much as you can in the time frame that you have, while also improving your application, looking better, sounding better, day by day, improving the process that you have. It's just like sales. It's like, if I want to be really good at appointment setting, for example, I'm going to start off by just dialing as many people as I can, but also I'm going to improve my skill set day by day to bring the numbers more and more and more in my favor. Right. So same thing with your application process, apply to roles, but make sure that your applications are getting better and you're doing better with the applications you're sending out each and every time, if that makes sense.
Does. Thanks.
And just so I'm clear, getting better means, you know, if I'm sending out applications in February, by the end of March, maybe I've improved my 1 minute video a little bit, you know? Maybe I took the video from a better location, better lighting. Maybe I sounded more fluent in the recording. Maybe the camera quality was a little bit more clear. Maybe I was on a roll for a little bit and I added that experience to the 1 minute video to sound, spice up my track record a little bit more. Maybe if I'm outreaching to sales managers and business owners, maybe I'm split testing two different messages that I'm sending to those business owners. And, I'm finding that this message gets more replies than that message, right? So now I'm gonna, maybe go more with this message or test it against something else. So, you could land something super quick. It could take you longer. At the end of the day, it just comes down to how good your application looks, right? Like if I personally started applying for roles right now, I'm super confident by the end of the week, I could have one of those super solid roles where people are making 20, 30K a month just because one, knowing where to look, and having a really solid application, people will, easily grab the interview and land a role.
Oh, that's
Stefan,
good.
did you have a question?
Yeah, hi Ty. I was just curious, I applied on your platform and I see all the opportunities, I see their website and their LinkedIn or Instagram. And I'm just curious, what type of message would you send to those business owners?
Yeah,
Like,
so
I don't know, you just can't say, hi, I want to be a closer or
yeah,
setter.
yeah, yeah. So you wanna come from the frame of making their life easier, you know? Um, there's a few ways to go about it. Obviously, you can play the long game and kind of just like interact with their content and stuff like that. But obviously, if you see they have a role available and you want to apply directly, I would shoot them a DM and I would say something that shows that you looked at what they've got going on. You're not just spamming them a message just like you spammed everyone else. I would say,
Mhm.
hey, saw you had a job post active. Not sure if you're still looking, but I wanted to let you know I submitted my application here. And then, this is part where I'd use like the rep select profile, or if you just have a 1 minute video, if you have a Google Doc, however you want to do it, cool. Part of the reason why I have, you could share your rep select profile would then add in, here's a little bit more information about me. I think I'd be if it's a company you really want to work with, they seem solid. I would say I think I'd be a great fit for these reasons. And those reasons can be I align with whatever. Let's say they're a fitness offer. I align with something to do with fitness. I think it's super important for people to be healthy, something like that. And then I would say I would end it off with let me know if there's any additional information that I can send over that would help speed up the process for you. And then I would leave it like that. And then I would just follow up like, I would follow up the next day. If I saw a job application, I would follow up like daily, in a non-annoying way because at the end of the day, if I'm going to hire a salesperson, I'm going to hire someone that is like following up. Because if you're willing to follow up, you're willing to do the outreach, you're willing to treat that as like you're treating me like your prospect, then I know you're going to follow up. I know you're going to do that as the actual sales professional that I hire, right? Like I can't tell you how many times I've brought someone on my team, or one of my teams that I was running at the time, just because they followed up. Like I'll be deciding between two or three people, and one of them is just like following up like every day, every couple days, and I'm like, yeah, that's the kind of person I want to bring on the team
Mm.
because like if they're willing to follow up for the interview, they're going to be willing to follow up for leads. If someone just sends me one message and I never hear from them again, then chances are that's just how they view it, or they just didn't really care about landing the role in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so good, man.
And then
Um,
don't be afraid to message like some of those old job posts as well. Like if I saw a job post, like let's say even Rep Select, I saw a job post that's like 4 months old, 5 months old. I'll reach out and I'll be like, hey, I know you were hiring a salesperson about 3 months ago. Not sure if that turned out well, but wanted to, put my name in the pot as an option. Here's a little bit about me. Let me know if you guys are if that relationship worked out, or if you when you guys are hiring again, or something like that.
mm,
Because I've again, speaking from experience, I've been, let's say I've hired someone, I went through the whole process. They didn't really work out. We spent like 2, 3 months training them, seeing how they went. They didn't really work out. Now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go make another post, and then I check my DMs, and it's someone who just either followed up because they applied before or just hit me up, and then I'm just like, all
Mm.
right, yeah, cool, let's do an interview. And I didn't even like, I'd never made a post. I never like reached out again to the people that applied. The guy just popped in my DMs, right time, right place, right time, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And then I got him on the interview, worked out good, and I hired him.
Nice.
Before even ever, and no one ever knew I was hiring, right? It's just because he just reached out, right place, right time. So don't be afraid to also like reach out to old posts because guess what? Almost no one else is reaching out. So that's when like there's the least noise in their inbox. Those new posts, not saying don't reach out to them, but those new posts, there's a lot of noise. Those old posts, almost no one's talking to those people. So reach out to them. Why not?
Okay. One more thing. Is it okay if I share my selfie video again?
Yeah, 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 for sure. You can drop it in the chat. We'll review it.
Okay, just
Oh, you're gonna share screen? Okay, yeah, you can do
yeah.
that too. Go ahead.
Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello, my name is Stefan, and I would love to work with you as a setter. My experience in sales was I was working in telecommunications where I was doing 30 calls every day. I was presenting offers and I helped people with their technical issues. Also on the spot, I closed and helped around 20 people every day where I closed deals, I was selling phones, packages, and I gave good reason why people should join us. The best thing about this experience was I connected so well with some people they were sending me gifts. This experience, I learned how to be very patient and how to listen to my customers' needs. I was working as affiliate for Trading Academy, where in just 1 week I closed 2 deals and I made 600 euros. In this opportunity, I learned how to present offers and how to learn objection handling. Now, I know you guys are looking for someone who is very dedicated, who is disciplined, and who is a team player. To prove that, I have run a marathon and I play football for more than 15 years. Now, if you're looking for someone who is willing to work very hard, who has name to make, who is open to learn, to grow, and the most important, who wants to bring the results to the table, I'm your guy. If you want to see me in action, I'm more than happy to send you my videos about my calls and how I do objection handling. Let's make this happen.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
I
Mine.
like it.
Yeah, Stefan,
much
what do you think about it?
better work than last week video. I don't know when did you post it. Like seriously, like big improvement, buddy. Like good work.
Yeah, I watched some of Thai videos about 1 minute and like just start with experience about some numbers and then you're working
Exactly.
hard, you want to improve. So yeah, that was a structure.
Awesome. Only thing I'd say is like there's nothing wrong with anything you said. I want to see it flow more naturally. You obviously scripted it out, right? So
Yes, I scripted on ChatGPT, but I wasn't reading. Like
for
I
sure,
did in my mind, I wasn't reading on laptop or anything.
I want to see that video be exactly the same like flow that how you're talking to me right now. Right? You're still like it's still a little bit, even though you're not reading, it still feels like it's something you scripted out. And I want it to just be like a little bit more charismatic, a little bit more you. Like as if you're just talking to me. As if I just said, "Hey Stefan, tell me why I should hire you." And you're like, "Yeah, so the reason why you should hire me is because, I have XYZ experience in telecommunications. I've done this, I've done that. In my first week I was able to close 2 deals." Like I want you to, be a little bit more personable with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
because like that's what they're looking for. They're like, hey, if I gave this guy a script to pitch my service, would he pitch it like if he can't pitch himself in a way that doesn't come across as scripted, how can I give him a pitch of something that he doesn't know as well as himself? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
it's
want you to get on there and just flow. I just want you to just flow like you're talking to someone, like you're in front of me selling yourself, if that makes
mm,
sense. So
yeah,
much better than last time. And again, guys, these 1 minute videos, like you're gonna have to record like 30 to 100 of them,
this was
before it
my
gets like
second one.
really good.
So
Exactly. So like
there's a lot of room for
there's
improvement.
nothing to be like, oh man, I messed up. It's like you're gonna have to record a lot of them. But that's why I say like every time like you can use that to start applying, But like by next week, you should be applying with a better one. And by next, even a better one and better one until you land a role. Just keep making
Yeah.
that 1 minute video better and better and better. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tyler. Enough for me. I know people have questions, so
No problem. Joseph, you put your hand up, man. What's up?
I wanted to piggyback off of that. I'm looking at different platforms. Like I know a lot of people use to record their 1 minute video. Um, I'm not sure if I should, because I know Loom kind of limits it to 25 videos a month, at least on their free plan. Um, what if anyone can share their advice on what platform they prefer to go with? Is it worth it to make that investment on Loom, on their premium plans? Um,
I mean, you could just record on your phone and upload to Google Drive.
Yeah,
That's
or you can delete all Loom videos and then
Yeah,
make a
you
fresh.
delete Loom videos,
So
record new
Loom
ones.
videos are good because you can see if the employer or potential company they saw your video. You get a
Yeah.
notification in the email that someone just watched your video. Yeah, so that's a good sign of using Loom.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. That's the benefit of Loom, and a lot of people get it because they can see, how many people have watched and viewed it. Um, you can upload videos to Loom as well, though, guys. Like, you could just like record a bunch on your phone and just get the reps in, and then when you got a good one, just upload it to Loom, to get those same benefits. Um, but yeah, and the last thing I'll say, Stefan, as well, and just for everyone. One thing that's going to help you stand apart a lot, because a lot of people they just do like this phone point and shoot. If you can record at your desk setting, so like if you're applying for a closer, you know, if you can record at your desk and just show like where you're at for your 1 minute video, I promise you it goes such a long way. It goes such a long way. Even for myself, when I'm looking at 1 minute videos, I've worked with recruiters, I've talked to other business owners. When they're looking at 1 minute videos, as soon as they see someone come like showing their setup, that person immediately stands out and usually gets, more of a look than others that are just on their phone. Because if I'm hiring a closer, sure, like you could sound great when you're on your phone, but like if I have you sound great and then the next guy sounds great, but one of you I can see your desk set up, I know like, okay, he has a good environment to take calls from. I'm immediately going to give him the opportunity if I was going to pick one, you know, for the interview. If I'm like, hey, I've only got X amount of space for interviews and it's between these two guys, they sound like if they're everything equal, they sound the exact same. One of them is just on their phone on their couch, and the other one is like at their desk. I can see their setup, like where they would actually take calls from. I'm going to give that guy the opportunity all day just because, it just saves me time. I don't have to guess now. Like, oh, you give someone an opportunity and then you find out that they got to take calls from like their couch or something, and you're like, oh well, this guy can't really be on my offer. And for some offers it's not going to matter as much as others, right? But if I'm selling like a business offer, business coaching for example, which is like a lot of offers are like that, marketing agencies, business coaching, that kind of stuff. You're not going to be talking with business owners from your couch. And do you have to have like this super expensive looking setup? No. A lot of the people, a lot of you guys, your setups are fine right now. But they just want to see it. Just show it to them. You know, that you're in a room. Looks like an office. Like, cool, we can do that. That makes sense. And then Stefan, if I'm showing up to interviews, I would not do a blurry background. Like, I would not blur the background at all.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, even for sales calls, I wouldn't blur the background because it just subconsciously people are like, "What does this guy got to hide? Why is he hiding stuff?"
Mm.
And like, there's nothing in your background that you need to hide. Like, you have no reason to be blurring the background. It's just like where you are looks fine.
Thank you so much, man. A lot of value again.
No problem.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Oh, is
Yeah.
it worth getting on another offer, Ty? What do you think? Because the
Why would
vol
you?
like I want to make money, man. What do you think? I want to make, I
Um,
don't know. I have a lot of availability. Like that's what I'm running with in my interviews. I'm like, I'm single, I'm child free, I have no pets. Like I have time and I want to use it. Just
For sure.
yeah,
I mean, can't you just put more time into the offer you're on?
I have been, but there's just not enough opportunity, I suppose.
Like
I've
not
been
enough
putting
lead
a lot of
flow
time.
or
I've been putting a lot of time into like going through like our old leads and trying to, reinitiate contact with them. It's just like I'm getting like on average 2 calls a day, right? And
like that you're
I'm
booking?
setting, yeah, yeah, because I don't want to take ad calls. They did um have the option, but I don't want.
Why not?
They're not good quality. I've been setting for them for a while. The ad calls are trash. Like there are
Be-
always people like just not good fit for the
So
company.
you're
Like we
only
can't help them.
so you're only self-setting like your own
Yeah,
calls and taking those ones?
yeah. And the other setter is also putting opportunities on my calendar. But it's still
Okay.
like it's looking like two a day, two, three a day, you
Is
know?
there like so are you saying like you're dialing all of the like there's not enough new leads daily coming in for you to
Yeah.
just like it's not a source where like if you wanted to you just couldn't dial all the new leads daily like you're dialing them in more?
Yeah, there's not enough new ones coming in. So I've been just trying to optimize like the old ones, like people who didn't close or no showed or stuff like that. So I've set up a lot of automations to like reinitiate contact with them. I find like just calling is I've not been doing a lot of dials. I'm texting mostly and sending emails. It's because I get a higher response rate, right? And then
Hmm.
I set up like Calendly for them to book directly, like that 15-minute discovery call. And I've been getting better responses from that than sitting down dialing 100, 200 dials a day, you know?
Hmm. Why not just do both?
It's true.
Because
I'll
like
give it a
I've
go.
been on a team like I was on a team where it was the same. Like I had we had a sitter there and he was doing about $100 a day, setting 3, 4 appointments. And then he started doing texts and he was
Hmm.
setting like 3, 4 appointments from that. And he just did both and he was setting like 6 to 8 a day from that, like you could send text and then like some people are going to respond to text, some people are going to pick up the phone. So like, why not do both?
Yeah, that's true. I'll do that. I feel like I just switched from one to the other.
Yeah, just do
Hmm.
just like maximize the opportunity, and like if you're doing
Hmm.
both and let's say you've got like you're doing it for, I don't know, 8 hours or whatever, and you're outside of calling time. Like outside
Hmm.
of calling time, like I don't know what your time zone is, but outside of calling time, if you don't want to dial people after a certain time, you're like, hey, nobody ever answers after this certain time. And you want to like, if you are going to pick up another role, you could pick up like a part-time closer role where they can book.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with
Like I
that. Like
want
if
to
you
do
want to do
like
that.
a part-time like Australian, time zone or PST or something because I'm in
Yeah.
EST.
Yeah.
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 So something like a couple hours in the evening, I feel like would balance things out.
It's all about ROI, right? Like this, like anytime someone's like, "Hey, should I bring on another offer?" I said this last week. It's all about what is the ROI on my time, right?
That's it.
Like if you got another offer where oh yeah, I forgot about that. If you got another offer where where one of them is providing you like $100 an hour in time that you're giving them,
Mm-hmm.
then and the other
Mm-hmm.
one's providing you $50 an hour, then obviously just shift your time more to that one until you've
Yeah.
capped it and so on and so forth. So you can pick up two offers. Just make sure it makes sense from an ROI standpoint. Like if you could, like if the offer you're on
True.
now, if the amount of like just take whatever you're making monthly and divide it by the hours you're putting into it, and just don't take another offer that isn't providing the same or more, you know?
Yeah. That's how I've been doing the math as well.
Cool.
Mhm.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. I I got the annual Zoom plan. And I remember like last year at some point I like canceled it and then they messaged me like this morning saying, "All right, it's been canceled," because they like give you the rest of the year and I totally forgot. So I just got notified that I do not have the full Zoom, so it's gonna end in like 8 minutes. So
Yeah.
I gotta turn back on my license. So I'll let you guys know like a minute before. Probably might have to hop off the link and then hop back on. I'll start another one. But I just wanted to let you
Mhm.
guys know that. Joseph, you had a question, man?
Yeah, this has been awesome, by the way. Thank you, Tia Martin, for putting this together. I've learned a lot
A
just on this
lot.
call. Um, my question is, even though I don't have vast experience, but the last offer I was on was basically like a MLM, network marketing, and it was more towards like I did a lot of appointment setting, but it was a lot through LinkedIn. I haven't seen a lot of offers that rely on LinkedIn appointment setting. Is in your experience, are there a lot out there, or is it majority Instagram or Facebook as far as, let's say, coming when it comes to DM appointment setting?
Um, there's a lot on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn caps you at like 25 people a day to reach out to new. Like it caps you at 100 a week. If you split it up, it's like 25 people a day. So the only problem with LinkedIn is you can't, like you used to be able to reach out to like 100 people a day, but then they changed their limits. So that's why you don't see as much like LinkedIn DM appointment setting roles, because you just can't reach out to more than 25 people a day, and that's not nearly enough to
Not efficient.
be a full like setter role.
Mhm.
You can supplement with LinkedIn for sure, but I mean, as an appointment setter, if you're doing DMs, like I would do all of it. Like just because like they have like a, even if I'm with someone that's doing like inbound leads, I would add other stuff and just set wherever I can. I would send some on IG, some on Facebook, some on LinkedIn, and you don't have to stay on the platform that they have like their group or whatever in. So feel free to take it to every platform.
Cool.
Cool, cool, cool. Any other questions?
So,
Yeah, I have a question. Oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Barry. That's
Yeah, I
fine. Yeah,
appreciate it, man. So I wanted to ask you, Ty. So um, I'm just similar to Joseph. I do have a lot of sales experience. However, not video sales experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have an opportunity where I was setting and closing for briefly. It was an online fitness opportunity. So my question to you is because I've jumped on a couple of interviews and they were like, okay, what type of sales experience do you have? And I mentioned what I had. And they were like, okay, are you willing to start setting first before you move on to close? I was like, yeah, definitely. But I would rather start closing. They're like, okay, we'll get back at you. That was like last Friday. So
Mm-hmm.
my question to you and perhaps Imani as well, since she's been setting and now moved on to close. Do you reckon that I should accept a setter role if I'm not able to find a closer, or should I just be determined to be on the hunt for a closer position? What do you
I
advise?
would I would 100% accept the setter role because I mean, to me, sales is sales. Like
Yeah.
sales is sales. Sales is full cycle, setting and closing. Like that's sales. Like if I'm a closer on a roll, I'm gonna be doing both. I'm not just gonna sit around and wait for calls to come in. And the reason why is because when you can do both, you have income control. Like
That's
if you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I'm waiting for calls to come, and you're like, oh, my offer's only booking me 3, 4 calls a day. I want to take 6. If you can set and close, you can just get to 6 if you want to get to 6. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not only that, but that's where you have power to go negotiate more commissions for the deals that you self set. You're just more of an asset, more valuable, which means you make more money, and you just pick up both skill sets. Like, I don't see just closing like in terms of just waiting for deals to show up on your calendar. I don't see that as like real full sales. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not really that good, in terms of, yeah, if you have an offer where your counter's stacked and that's what you can, like that's, you don't even need to outbound dial, that's fine for sure. Like that's great. But you're going to be a lot better off knowing how to do both. And if I were you, I would just tell those people, yeah, for sure. Like I'll do that. Hey, if I can, same thing I told Imani last time. I would say, hey,
yeah.
what results would you want to see from me before I move into that closer position? Like if I set X amount of appointments for 3 months straight, you can move into a closer. Or if I set, like, what's KPI? 3 appointments. Hey, if I set 3 appointments every single day, can the fourth one go to me and I close?
Mhm.
And they're usually always gonna say, yeah, have at it,
Yeah.
and you can earn that closing position super quick. And then, it's a lot of this remote sales game is about your track record. So you need to just have that company that's going to give you that first shot, get your foot
Yeah.
in the door. Once you get your foot in the door, you get a history of setting, a history of closing, landing other closing roles is going to be so easy. So I wouldn't like, don't be so picky, at first.
Yeah.
Got you, man. And thank you for the insights. We always gain wisdom watching you, and you cover like every aspect of everything you touch upon, man. I appreciate you.
You guys are blowing up
Uh,
my ego today. No problem.
But it's true though. It is. It is. I learned so much. Like, this is what, the third time or fourth time I've been on here, and I've grown so much in 4 weeks. Think about it. I wish everyone in the community would really see the value in hopping onto the calls, because I knew, like, I didn't really look into sales before. Like, I was just applying for remote roles, and I landed in this appointment setting role. And then when I started doing my research, I'm like, I definitely want to be a closer. So when I was interviewing, I did mention that, like, off the two, like, I definitely want to get into closing, but to be fully transparent, I have no clue what any of this is about. So I'm game to just learn from the bottom up, and that's what I've been doing. And I spend, like, what I'd recommend for everybody is just spend a lot of, as much time as you can, learning as much as you can with the free communities until you're able to find, like, as soon as I have money, Ty, of course Ty is getting my money. You know what I mean? As soon as you're able to pay
Funny.
for proper training, like, this is just an opportunity to get yourself to that point. That's how I look at it. Because these people making 20, 30K, you think they just did it off, like, oh, I'm so amazing just by myself. A lot of them just got really good coaching.
And that's why I tell a
Right?
lot of people, like, also don't be in a rush. Don't be in a
Yeah,
rush. Like, a lot of people I know there's a lot of, and it's not people's fault, because like there's so much marketing, like 10, 20K a
hmm
month within 90 days. Join my program. Like, there's like, that's all the marketing, because that's what's sexy. That's what gets the clicks, gets the highest
true.
ROI for sure. And that's part of why I started Closer College, because like, and that's why I do these calls, because I don't want people to be in a rush. That's why I do a low ticket subscription instead of a high ticket program, because when you spend 5 to 10K on a program, like, you're gonna be in a rush because you need to make that money back, right? That's a big investment, right?
Exactly.
So I don't want people to be in a rush, because the reality is, for most people, that, don't get me wrong, some people quick, but for most people, it's gonna take a couple years. But then I always tell people, because they always frown when I say that, but I'm like, hey, is 1 to 2 to maybe 3 years of your life worth the wait to make 200 to 300K a year plus? I'd say so. Maybe for you, not
I
so
think
much.
so.
I'd say so. It's just, there's a lot of other opportunities. You could go to school, you could spend a lot of money
hmm
there, you could do lots of things, but most of them don't end up with a multi six figure job after it. So I think it's worth taking the time to learn the skill for most people.
Yeah.
Josh, yeah, you end up for a while though, man. Want to make sure I get to your question if you got one. I don't know if he's still
Oh.
there. Josh, can you hear us? Might be frozen or something. Not sure.
Josh is locked
Am
in
I
on
saying it right? Is
something.
it Thebe?
Yes, it's Tebe.
Tebe? Tebe?
Hi, how are you?
All right, cool. What's up, man?
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm actually just new to the space. And I just wanted to ask, so I just recently started applying, and I just want to ask, is there anything I can do to guarantee getting something like maybe this month? Because I've already started applying. I've created a 1 minute video like today actually, and I've started attaching it to the office that I'm sending. Is there anything else that I can do to like um guarantee that maybe this month or next month I can get something? It doesn't have to be like the offer that I want, but just anything to get my feet wet and to
Well, I'm
gain
never gonna
experience.
say that word guarantee, because I just can't guarantee. I would be lying to you if I could guarantee it. You know, it's impossible for me to guarantee it. Um, can we make it much more likely? Sure. I mean, the stuff you're gonna want to do is create the best 1 minute video you can, show up to all of these calls and get your 1 minute videos reviewed, post them in the community, get them reviewed. Um, Make sure your application's looking as good as possible. Make sure you build a solid portfolio. So, like, for me, if I really wanted to roll as quickly as possible, and let's say I didn't have the track record that I did, I would create a 1 minute video, and then I would get on role plays with people, and I would create a track record, create a portfolio. And what I mean when I say create a portfolio is this: I would be like, all right, Imani, let's get on a role play, and let's say I wanted a close role. I'd say let's do some sales discovery, and then I'd get into like my video editor or whatever, and I would cut out like the discovery of me finding pain or whatever, and then I would put that as its own clip. And then I would say, hey, let's do fear objection. And then I would cut out fear objection and I'd put that as a clip. And I'd say, let's do a pricing objection. I'd jump on with Powell. Let's do pricing objection. And I'd cut out pricing objection and I'd post a clip. And I would just have a bunch of clips of me just showing my sales skills, right? And then when I apply, again, this is why I have a portfolio section of the RepSelect profile. You don't have to use that. You could just use like a Google Doc or something. But when I apply and I send them my Google Doc or whatever, it just has examples of me just being good at sales. Like regardless of whether I have all the closing history or not, if you could just show them like, oh, this person knows how to handle fear objections. This person knows how to handle price objections. This person knows how to do a discovery. This person knows how to pitch. Just me pitching something. Um, that's the best you could do. There's not much you can do after that. That's the best you could do, you know? And then I would go from there. So if you had that plus a great woman in video, plus you're consistently applying to roles and not being picky, because again, you don't need to apply for like the 10K a month plus roles right off the gate. There's some people that make 10, 15, 20K a month by stacking multiple like 3 to 5K a month offers. Right. And when I say like there's no true like this is a 3K offer, this is a 5K offer, it just comes down to how good you are at sales. Like you can jump on an offer and close so good that you turn a 3K into a 6, you know? Just when we say like those offers, it's usually just they have more lead flow, they have more testimonials, more case studies. They're just more of an established company. So that's really the reason why you see those higher OTEs. But again, you can hop on an offer and really, you know, help them scale it up. So don't be afraid to stack multiple closer offers if your goal is to make like 8, 10K a month, right? So yeah, it really like if I wanted to land one by the end of the month, I'd put together a portfolio like that, create a great 1 minute video. I'd reach out to as many recruiting companies as I can. You maybe search on Google like sales recruiting companies. If you have RepSelect, there's a list of them there, but you know, putting that aside, look up like sales recruiters on LinkedIn or whatever. Hit up all the sales recruiters. The reason why is because you get the best ROI for your time, right? I could either reach out to a bunch of different jobs, I could either reach out to a bunch of different businesses. I will do that, but I could also just reach out to recruiters who have access to a bunch of different businesses. So every one recruiter you talk to, you're kind of like you're technically reaching out to like 5 or 10 or 100 different businesses that they are connected to. And you know, you'll get some interviews and, you know, I would make sure that my interview skills are on point. So if you're not super confident for how you show up on interviews, I would do some interview mocks, you know, get really good at answering interview questions and being confident on interviews. Again, you can get those reviewed on these kind of calls as well, or put them in the community. And away you go. You should be able to land a role pretty quickly. Will it be in 30 days? I can't guarantee that. Maybe it could be in a week or two of doing that. It could be in a month. It could be in 60 days. It just depends on how good you look and if you're reaching out to a company, right place, right time, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks.
No
I'd
problem.
say also just apply for like I set a number for myself. I remember when I was doing earlier, I did like 2 a day minimum, minimum applications per day. You could like if you're not doing anything else right now, set a goal for yourself. Like I need to send 10 applications per day or something like that. And just
Yeah.
keep finding them, all the platforms that you can go on and find them. Like I have people responding now for roles I applied to a month ago, 2 months ago. I'm getting interview. I did an interview a couple hours ago that I didn't even recall applying for,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I would do. That's what I did and it worked.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I've had people do something like that where they submitted like 20, 30 a day. And you know, I've had someone get like 40 interviews in a month. You know what I mean? Which is a lot, but you know, and then they just pick whichever kind of, you know, they get like 5, 10 offers out of that, maybe more, depending on how good they showed up to those interviews, and then picked another one. So it's just also how much time do you have to really invest in it, you know? And it's like also like why be in a rush? Are you in a rush? Why be in a rush? You know? Does it have to be this month? If it does, then yeah, balls to the wall. Let's go do it. But you know, there's also no need to be in a rush. You don't need to take an offer that's bad or, you know. So there's so many ways to do it, if that makes sense. Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah, it does help. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Joseph, you had a question. I saw you post in the community. You said, is the Friday 1 p.m. call part of the 9? So part of RepSelect? No, that is Closer College. That's different from RepSelect. So we're gonna be adding more calls as well. We're gonna add a Wednesday call as well. That's for people that are on the Closer College subscription. That one's like 67 bucks a month, which gives you access to like all the courses and more of these calls. And then the 9.99 is access to Rep Select. So that's where you get like all the job opportunities, the access to the pipelines of recruiters and all the fun stuff that's over there.
Okay. Yeah, and as far as like because I have a ways to go as far as because I coming into this I'm thinking like I just needed training on closing, but I realized like interviewing, that's a skill in itself. Like you have to be good at interviewing and presenting yourself, and I realized that that's something that's missing. What
Hmm.
do you recommend as far as I guess mock interviews? I really need to get more reps with those.
Hmm.
Um, um, what's the best way to go about to get a lot of mock interviews?
Just post in the community. Post a booking link in the community and ask if anyone wants to book with you, book with other people. And then again, guys, you don't get so caught up on like type of calls. Like you can get on with someone who just wants to do like a sales, like a closer role play, and then be like, "Hey, I'll be your prospect if you be my interviewer." You know what I mean? And you guys just work on what you guys need. So like there's tons of people in the community saying, "I need a role play partner. I need a role play partner. I need a role play partner." So just hit them up and book a call with them and say, "Hey, you want to do a setter role play, then you can triage me. Just be my interviewer when it's my turn to go. Take turns, go back and forth. You should be able to get tons of mocks in. Um, and then you can, just get them reviewed by someone who knows how to, show up to interviews and stuff. And guys, this is so slept on. No, not many people talk about like interview mocks, but I've worked with some of the biggest sales recruiting companies in this space, and I'll tell you, the recruiting teams, when I started implementing like interview mocks, they were blown away by the quality of candidates, right? And that's what they saw. They're like, "Oh, these candidates, like I don't know what you guys did, but the candidates you've been getting have been huge. Like the quality has been huge. Like they're so good. Like we're getting them placed so much easier. They're showing up, they're answering questions, like they're confident. Like what did you guys do?" And it's because we implemented interview mocks and interview mock like record like call reviews. Like we would review those mocks and I'd be like, "Hey, the way you answered this interview question sucked. This is how you need to answer it instead." And then they would change the way they answered it, and all of a sudden, people are like, they're getting more offers, you know. So don't sleep on that because you can do all the stuff in the world to land the interview, but if you're just bombing interviews, what's the point,
Yeah.
you know?
Right? You get the
Um,
interview.
You said the interview mocks, like you just do them. You post your booking link in the community, or just book on other people's booking link, and just ask them to do role plays with you. Record them and bring them to these calls. We can review them. We can review them.
Okay. That
um,
makes sense. And I wanted to say something to Maruf Mansour, I believe. When he was talking, I've really Brian has been providing like a lot of value, and especially in terms of messaging these guys one on one, right? It's also led to you have to realize that a closer really the two things for a closer: the offer and the leads. If you know how to solve a lead problem, then offers are easy to find. You don't even have to apply. Literally, you don't really have to apply because there's so many other business owners out there that are not even doing high ticket that want this, that don't know this model exists. And you can you can even go to networking sessions and network be like, yeah, I can help you with your sales for like zero and you just pay me 10% commission. They don't even know they have high ticket programs, right? That's how I got into high ticket, right? I actually upsold. This guy was doing 20,000 for his high ticket offer. I said, I'm gonna bring you a lead, man, and I'm gonna upsell it for another 20,000, another 20 grand. And he was like, "What? You can do that?" And I brought him that lead. We started talking. We started getting to the process. Then he was like, "Yo, you know what? Can you close for me? Can you do this? I'll bring you leads." Because now he's excited that you have someone here that can do this. Because you can literally start your own empire just knowing those two. If you're a salesperson and now you're getting leads, then all you need is an offer. There are also tons of high ticket affiliate marketing offers as well, besides local businesses. you know? So if you start in with like appointment setting and you know how that whole world works and it comes to sales, you can just kind of redirect it. Like I just closed last week on my first real estate home. I'm not even in real estate, right? I hardly know anything about it. But now all of a sudden people are calling me an investor and the buyer's like, yeah, Josh, so what do you think this property will cost in rough estimation of repairs? I'm like, well, he's working on it, so it's really hard to find out. Why not give you a call back? It's just like sales, having that sales confidence. So you can apply it to like everywhere. And actually this funny enough, just being in this group with Ty Martin has just opened parallel doors that I didn't expect, right? And it's really like I'm not closing the way most people are, like traditional 10% or whatever it is. I'm just like I'm finding that, oh, I know a bunch of sellers, I know a bunch of buyers, and all I have to do is sell and bring them together. And that's like what, 5 to 30, even 50K in commissions. Game, game. And that's what I
There's
started.
so much you can do with sales skills. So
Yeah.
and this is why I also say like, and I preach this so much. I say like, don't like a lot of people, they come in here and they just want like the cushy inbound, or even if they're as an appointment setter, they just want like, oh, I want pre-qualified leads and this and this and that, which is great to get that. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. I would want that, right? Everyone would want that. But it's like, I don't want to need that to close deals and make money. If you know how to make money off of cold calling, cold DMs, cold email, I've done them all. I can make money doing them all. If you know how to do that, you'll never go broke again, ever. And one thing that really opened my eyes to that was I was running a marketing agency. This was probably like 5 years ago. It's a long time ago. I was running a marketing agency, and everything was going good. I had my process. We were getting clients off Upwork, whatever, we're closing deals. Everything was good. And I just moved into this office, spent a bunch of money, was low on cash. Then all of a sudden I got hit with this like $2,300 like car bill. And I was like, oh, uh-oh, what am I gonna do here? Didn't know what I was gonna do to pay for it. But then I was just like, I mean, we get clients by doing this. I have a VA that reaches out to, 10 people a day on Upwork. What if I just jump in and just do like 100 today, and just see what happens. So then I went on there and I started reaching out to people directly, just cold. And within 48 hours, I got someone on the phone and closed the deal and got paid and charged them like, it was like $3,500 for the deal that we were doing for the agency, and got paid out. And it was like a 3-day process, and I made like 3 grand within 3 days. And then I went and paid that bill, and away we go. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you know how to just go online and just find someone that needs the service and just sell, you'll never worry about cash ever again. Um, so again, not that you're going to go do cold outreach for every single business, but you want to have the skill to do it things hit the fan, if you ever need to. And that's like, those skills are what create longevity. I've been running my own businesses, closing for people, like just doing this stuff for like, I've been working commission only pretty much for my entire life. I've actually never had a job that wasn't sales in my entire life. I got into sales when I was young, and that's just what I've always did. And I've been working commission for my whole life. And it's just, as you build more and more and more skills in it, that's where your job security comes from, your skill set, from your Rolodex of skills. Your job security doesn't come from finding a great offer, because great offers go away. Sometimes they shut down, sometimes they stick around for a long time, but you never want to depend on a good offer. You want to know that I have the skills to make 10K a month on any offer if I wanted to. On some offers, is it going to take more work than others to make that amount? Yes. But no matter what, if this is the minimum income I want to make, I can hit that as long as I'm selling something that the business owner is good and he's ethical. I can come in there and make stuff happen. Like, that's the skill you want to have. Not that you're always going to need it all, but better to need it and not have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That makes sense?
100%.
Cool. Any Joseph, you had another question, man? Or you had a hand up there for a while?
Yes, I was wondering about I've been part of other school communities and they have like where you can do mock interviews, but it's kind of limited as far as how many mock interviews you can do within, let's say, a week's time. Maybe you can do maybe five because there just wasn't that many people. Um, and I guess anybody can share their input on this. How many mock interviews were you able to do or reps were you able to do within a week's time just in this community if you really apply yourself?
Well, I don't know if there's any like specific number. I mean, there's a bunch of people posting all the time about doing role plays and stuff. So you just get on and do as many as you can, you know? Like you can even just find a couple partners that are willing to do a bunch with you, you know? Just be like, "Hey, are you willing to do a role play with me every day this week?" Find like 2, 3 people like that, you know? I don't know if there's any specific number because we also get like 10, 15 new people in the community every single day. So, you know, it's always growing. There's always people looking to do some kind of role play or mock. You just got to reach out, make connections. You know, if you go on I don't know if you've seen on the book mock calls kind of category in school, there's a bunch of links that you can just like book with people. Um, but yeah, there's lots of
You
people
said
there.
where in the community? You said the
Yeah, let me share
book
something
mock
else with you real
calls.
quick. So yeah, if you come to
Okay.
the community, you can go, this will be like closed or whatever. You can open this up and then you can do, where is it? Bookmark calls. And then you just see here a bunch of people are just dropping their calendar links. You can like open them up and just book with people. Post your own as well. Post your own and people will book with you. Should be able to get a good amount in. Most important thing about mock calls is you want to be practicing the right things, you know, like doing them a lot is good for sure. I know a lot of people they like to get on mock calls and give each other advice as well. Take that with a grain of salt, you know. I don't know what kind of advice other people are giving other people. Um, you just don't want to run into a situation where it's like blind leading the blind. Not saying you guys are blind, but you know what I mean. You don't want people to give you advice that's just off of their own like ideas and not really what works. So, I mean, the most important thing is do one, do two, do three, get it reviewed by someone that knows what they're talking about. Could be me, could be someone else, just someone that knows what they're talking about. And then just work on applying their feedback and then get it reviewed again, apply the feedback, get it reviewed again, and apply the feedback. But if you just do like mock call after mock call after mock call without anyone like reviewing it or looking at it, um, then you just don't know if you're getting better and that's not the most helpful thing either.
One of the big issues I run into with the mock setting up mock calls is this. I say majority, maybe I don't know if it's in this community, but I know in other school communities, I've run into a lot of just flaky people. Like you
Yeah.
schedule an appointment with them, and then they don't even show up for the mock calls. Like no call, no show, nothing. So that was like really like just trying to find serious people that are real serious about improving their skills and showing up to the mock calls.
Yeah, and one thing I've done in other communities was there's dedicated like community role play times. That's why I have that on Friday for people that are in closer college. It's like, hey, if you struggle to find a partner, just jump on and you know, we can pair people up live or you could just role play with me. Um, but yeah, I'd love to do more of those. Obviously, you want those to be kind of like supervised and stuff, someone to actually do those pairings. But as the community grows, maybe we'll have more of those. Maybe we'll open up some of those. But yeah, it's hard. Sometimes people flake, but you know, there's only so much you could do. That's why it's best to just find a set of like 5 people that you can partner with, you know, where you guys communicate regularly, you role play together regularly, um, and you can talk to them. I'd say the most like active people in the community are usually people that are taking a little bit more serious and just,
Yeah,
you know, talk to them, role play with them. People like that are on this call. I'm sure these guys aren't flaking on these kind of things. So, you know,
yeah,
don't always try to just find new people, new people, new people. Just get like 3 to 4 people that you know you guys can like commit to each other to improve on certain things consistently.
yeah, yeah. I actually, but with 2 people from the community so far. One we've done like couple days in a row, and then another we've done a couple times already. So that does work, honestly. If you find that the person flakes 1 or 2 times, just don't allow them to book on your calendar again. If you see it coming, you just cancel it. Like, you know?
Yeah,
That's the,
start to
that would be
blacklist
my
people.
approach. Yeah, that would be my approach. And so far, like I found, like there was a point where I'm like, we are all at the same level, so I'm not getting as much value out of it anymore. I just feel like it's just good to still have a network anyway. You never know. It's a good networking opportunity.
And get creative with your role plays. Like they don't just have to be, hey, let's do the full call. It's like sometimes let's just role play this objection over and over again. Let's just role play this one thing. Let's just role
Mhm.
play this other thing. You know, you can get creative with how they role play, and then have them play different characters. You know, we always had a saying when I was like running, like managing door-to-door sales teams and stuff is, you know, we want the role play sessions to be way harder than the real calls and real like interactions with people. So if you guys are also like, be the hardest, most difficult prospects ever on your role plays, or else you guys are wasting your time. You know, because like the one thing I don't like as well when people role play and then they're just like being lay down buyers. It's like, why role play being a lay down? Like at first, don't get me wrong, if someone's like, hey, this is my first ever role play, like don't be a dick to them and like totally throw them off guard. But if someone's like, yeah, I've been role playing for a while, I've been practicing, like once you get the structure down, now it's time to just like start to throw them off, start throwing some different things in, you know?
Yeah.
Like if someone's role playing like a triage call and they say, you know, hey, is this Stefan? Be like, yeah, what do you want? Like that, like respond a little bit, throw them off. And because like once you're prepared to handle anything like that, then the real calls, you're like, oh, these calls are easier than the game, than the practice. Like practice harder than you play, you know?
Mhm.
That's another thing. Like a lot of people that are just getting to remote sales, they do that a lot. They role play for like a month, and these role plays are like fairy tale land, and everyone's a lay down buyer, and then they get on a real call and they get destroyed, and they're like, oh my
And
gosh, I quit.
then
You know? So yeah, make sure I've literally coached people that like came to their next coaching call crying after they got on their first offer. Not that it was like, not
oh,
that the person was like super bad. For example, like the one they were calling like they were doing a offer for like construction workers, you know, and sometimes construction
mhm.
workers can be dicks, you know, so they were just like, the hell do you want? And then they just like they couldn't handle it, you know. Um, but like if you're
That'd be
prepared
annoying.
for a lot of that stuff, and it's not like everyone's gonna be that on every offer. Like the vast majority of people are pretty nice, you know. There's gonna be, you know, here and there a couple dicks, but if you're just like not prepared for it, it can really shock you the first time it happens. So just like role play, be difficult, be a bit of an ass and make it hard. And then it just gets easy, it gets fun when you're actually doing it.
True.
Sound good?
Agree.
Any final questions before we hop? Nope. Everyone
Mm,
good to go? Everyone learned something?
Awesome, massive value,
100%.
massive value.
Perfect. Well, if you want these calls to be more valuable, what makes them super valuable is the more people that hop on, the more people that ask questions, the more questions that can get answered. And then even if you can't get on a call, if people are on here asking a bunch of questions, I'm going to post a recording in the community and you guys will get to rewatch those back. So, you know, if you enjoyed the call, you know, there's only so much I can post about the quality of the calls. So feel free to post about it, comment on the replays when I post them. You know, it gets people more excited, gets more people on the call. The more you guys comment about these things, the more you guys post about these calls, the more people show up, the more questions get asked, and the more value we can start to put out in the community and get some help for you guys. And again, the more people you guys will get to role play with and people that are more committed to this thing. So, been a
The,
super
re-
big help. Let's keep the
the
train
replays are
going.
part of the $60 plan, right?
Not these ones. These calls are free, so we're just like this one's just going to get dropped in the community. So you'll be able to just watch it back. And if you go to new trainings in the filters, you're going to see like I dropped my YouTube videos in there now. I started doing that because there's a lot of training in there, and then also these calls will be in there. So there's lots of free content, lots and lots of free content, lots of free value to take out from this. So take it while it's here. And I'll see you guys in the next week or so. You guys have a great rest of your week.
Yeah.
Bye
Oh,
bye.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
See
bro.
ya.
Bye.
all the best.
Have a good
See you
one.
later.
Later.